Also just changed them again right now on top of that.
All right, looks like we also got the 6th car of Mark Johnston now coming down pit road. So green flag pit stops are underway as we continue racing here. We'll run down the field for you as it sits. We have Josh Schaffner in first place with Chris Severa in second, Chris Johnson third, Kenny Powell in fourth, Eric Clean fifth, John Mullins in 6th place. Wayne Grassi is going to be in 7th with Gary Adamson in 8th, Al Kozlowski in 9th, and Ryan Strunk leads that top 10 so far of our mid-race running order.
Brian Johnson will go up to 10th place as John Mullins just came down pit road this time by. It's Pattengale currently in 11th place as Mullins falls back. Ayland is 12th, Flores is 13th. That'll put Olson in 14th. He just came down to pit road. Mark Johnston is 16th, to that with Hone and Green, both with him, 2 laps down as well. That'll be a rundown of your Tucson Sound Art field here for the Sugarlands Distilling 200 as green flag pit stops continue to roll their way on through. At the moment, you still got 13 drivers on the lead lap, but a good number of those drivers are now spaced out across the entirety of this field as Mullins and Olson are both currently still in pit road.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now what Schaffner's going to do as Severa now comes down the pit road. Schaffner actually just going to keep leading the way, so he should be coming down pit road pretty soon.
Severa bails out in the fight for the race lead. He's come down pit road, so now I'm expecting just about everybody coming down on the lead lap here within these next 3 or 4 laps, give or take. Checking in real quick on where we're at with stint lengths. We're at lap number 40 at the moment for these drivers that have not yet stopped. So we're kind of right within the ballpark where drivers are going to want to come on down, right about halfway through stage 3.
Our race
leader, Josh Schaffner. Yeah, Schaffner in, Chris Johnson coming with them. So is Powell. Kling will stay out. He will inherit the lead. I'm seeing Gary Adamson coming in as well. And here comes Brian Johnson into pit lane. Pattengale's coming in. John Mullins stays out for now. Ayland Flores also into the lane this time by. So that's over half the field coming in this lap.
Yep, I think those drivers stayed out as long as they could, and now, it's time. Everybody was just waiting time to come up to get the gas. So now it's time. So now for fresh tires and fuel, it will take these guys to the duration of this thing should it go green. And now once drivers are exiting pit road, barring there be no penalties, we'll be able to see who actually made up ground and who lost ground on pit road.
Well, I can tell you right now, Severa made a lot of ground. He cleared for the race lead before Schaffner was even through turn 2. So Chris Severa is the new net race leader by a whopping 2.4 seconds over the number 50 car. So Severa with a golden pit call here.
Yeah, he was actually on the money there on that last pit stop. And that's what it takes in order to get this thing done.
Grassi is also pitted this time by. We're just waiting now on Al Kozlowski, the last driver out there that is yet to stop. Tell you what, that was a great call there from Chris Severa. Just looking at now at where things are looking for the actual, how much time there is between them. 2.7 seconds, and that is only extending at the moment.
Yeah, Schaffner's pit stop was some 0.5 of a second longer than Severa's. I'm not sure where that 0.5 went, but that is the difference to Severa actually becoming your clear race winner. Like I say all the time, these races are going to be won and lost on pit road. That's what happens so many times. And tonight looks like it might not be any exception. So as Severa continues to put those blistering lap times down, because so far right now he is our pace setter for this lap. We'll see what happens.
Still waiting on Al Kozlowski to come down to pit road. He is the only driver this moment that is yet to stop. And at the moment he has been out there for 45 laps. So we are expecting Al to be coming in here within these next 5 laps at the very most, possibly even within the next 3, because it's an estimated 48 laps you can go on the fuel run. There's only 4 cars on the lead lap. That number is obviously going to grow when Kozlowski comes down pit road, which the 88 car is not yet done. And I have to wonder if Alice hoping for a caution here so he can come down under the yellow flag.
Well, what would give you that idea? Of course, I think he's hoping for a late race caution.
You gotta hope for the. Oh, look! He's gonna get in here.
And he gets it.
That's an outside wall. He got the yellow he was waiting for. How about that? So is that a reverse commentator's curse then?
I think he willed it into existence, and we spoke it into existence as that 6-star Mark Johnson looks like he's just going to self-spin and totally take himself out with nice contact into that outside wall.
That is amazing. I wonder if he clipped the apron and got loose, or if he was already loose before that. This will tell the story. Oh, he was already losing it before that, and the apron just finished him off. Well, this is going to kick this all in the high gear. I wonder how this will help the 88. Will he be able to get around in time for... Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting. This is, I think, trapped a good number of drivers a lap down. Because you have to remember, Chris Severa, at the moment, is in second place.
And he's
going to take the lead.
Yeah, and he is not going to pit, which means Schaffner's not going to pit, which means Johnson's not going to pit, which means none of those guys are going to get the waiver round. So, best case they had was that, Al's going to come down. He has no choice. But, so, yeah, it's going to trap a lot of guys a lap down. You're right. That's unfortunate.
Actually, I don't think it will, because looking at it again, you got to remember that Severa is behind a lot of these cars that are a lap down. So everybody in front of Severa will get their laps back. So that will include John Mullins, who just got his Lucky Dog wave round pass. But guys that are going to be waved around are going to be Kenny Powell, Kyle Green, Adamson, Kling, Grassi, Strunk, Johnson, Ayland, Pattengale. And those are the drivers that will be getting their wave rounds. Olsen, Flores, and Jay Hone, You're right. They are currently screwed for the time being. But you're going to get a good number of guys that are going to be waved around. But here's the bigger thing. And this was strategic for Kozlowski. Because you have to remember, they are all going to be sent out to the tail of the field. Al's starting in front of all of them. He's going to be restarting third place.
If that was his strategy, in the more we're sitting here looking at it and talking about it, if it was, it's the best thing strategy could have had. It looks like that is the race strategy of the racing strategy of the day. How about that?
It was a very, very bold call, but one that certainly paid off. So why don't we take a quick step away, and we'll see how that strategy will continue to play out right when we come back for these final 30 or so laps.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
Well, we're back and more developing stories here from the Kentucky Speedway. A few drivers came down to pit road. Those drivers at the moment included Kyle Green, as well as Brian Johnson, Paul Olson, and Mark Johnston. And in a lot of those cases, we don't think they had enough fuel out to make it to the end of the race. So the drama continues to get ramped up from Kentucky.
But not only is the drama going to continue to get wrapped up, well, I mean, we're still right on the outside of a true green flag shootout. So with everybody being bunched up together like they are, us having 12 cars on the lead lap, this still being anybody's race, I think we still have the potential to have another late race caution and a even bigger shootout. So I think it's still going to be anybody's race. Now Severa gets the privilege of leading this thing. We're going to see if he actually launches to get a favorable freaking launch as the lights are off on the pace car. And then we're going to see how Josh Schaffner is going to react to that.
Coming to the green flag this time by early launch from Severa takes us back to green, and a lot of the field did not go on the inside line. Schaffner is clear. Al Kozlowski going to be down in third and trying to hold on as that pick call, or that genius call of waiting for a caution played out in his favor. He restarted third as opposed to where he would have been in sixth had he been remaining up to his strategy, with Chris Johnson now in fourth trying to run him down as well.
Yeah, Josh Schaffner now is just actually getting the nose of his Premier Chevrolet right up to Severa's bumper, as Keselowski is going to go ahead and find himself just coming comfortably into third place, sorry.
So 30 laps left to go. That last time by at the line, and we continue to scrap it out for these final dying laps from Sparta, Kentucky. Severa on a charge, look out, Schaffner sliding up the track, trying to hang on. The pre-racing setup shop's driver that had held control of this race for so long, now dumped out of the podium, but what a save from the number 50 car as he scrambled up the track in four.
Yeah, and he was not done. He was slip sliding away, but he was bound to hold on to it. And now he's bound and determined not to give up or relinquish any more positions, as he's now battling Chris D. Johnson. Looks like we're going to be that third position. Schaffner, just for whatever reason, I think he just got a little. And now Johnson's out of control and into the outside wall, but he's going to save it. But Josh Schaffner's going to be done. But sorry, Jay Holmes going to be coming up behind him, but we are still going to continue to train.
What is happening from the Kentucky Speedway? Just complete chaos as now Flores gets tagged by John Mullins just up the road. It is complete pandemonium at the moment out there on the racetrack, and Flores looking to battle it out with Ryan Strunk along with Kling, and Grassi just tucked in behind. This is all starting to kick off big time at the Kentucky Speedway as everybody trying to sort themselves out of the battles they can scrap away with each other with.
I think we just got about 3 good accidents just looking for a place to happen out here for us. As look, Wayne Grossi's now going to bring his nose down on the inside of that Frank Flores vehicle, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to take that position away.
And for 7th and 8th, here is the fight with Wayne Grossi and Eric Kling looking to duke it out. Flores, of course, is lapped traffic, so he's going to back off, let Kling in line. And he'll have to watch from the outside in as Kling looks to duke it out with Grossi just up in front in the dying laps of the Sugarlands Distilling 200. What has this race become? I mean, this has just been kicked off into high gear to another level.
Yeah, another level, that's right. Like I told you, we had yet to see some of the best racing that we were going to see tonight, and these guys are definitely making sure that we're going to get our money's worth, as Kling is going to continue to press Grossi, and Grossi is actually closing the door on Ryan Strunk in that 77 car.
And up for the lead, Kozlowski, who won out the most from that latest pit strategy call where he waited for the yellow to come out. He seems to be working out for him so far as he is pressuring the back end of Chris Severa. Al Kozlowski trying to go to victory lane for the first time all season long. Looking to stay right behind Severa for now, but no doubt that 88 car is going to be wanting to get up to the lead before long as John Mullins has entered pit road this time. Check that, Chris Johnson into pit road this last time by.
That's going to be interesting. We'll have to follow and see what's going on with that 48 car. But Severa, surely he cannot like having to have Kozlowski on his back end like that. Because
Look out! Big slide for Severa. Sorry to cut you off from there, Al, but what a moment for Severa, who got all sorts of crossed up out of 4.
Yeah, and I think he's doing that because Kozlowski's just going to keep putting the pressure on him. That's exactly what Al's going to do until Severa does make that slip, and then he can actually get by. But slowly, just like that, Josh Schaffner actually is bringing himself back up into to the lead conversation as we get ready to have about 22 laps left in this thing.
The number is going to be dwindling rapidly. It's going to be 22 laps to go at the moment. And this battle for the race lead is far from over, with Severa trying to keep Kozlowski at bay. What a run for all of these drivers thus far. This has just been probably one of the best races we've had so far on the season to date, and I can guarantee you it is only going to be picking up more and more from here as the season goes along. Kozlowski looking high down the front straightaway, but Severa already going to cover him off down to the turn 1.
As these three drivers, Severa, Kozlowski, and Schaffner, continue to run away with this thing, I'm telling you, these three guys are they're the hunters. I mean, they're going to be watching each other. As looks, Kozlowski's now going to get on the inside to try to take up that position to push Severa to the outside. Now, Schaffner's just going to sit back and he's going to watch this. Oh! No!
Kozlowski's dumped Severa for the lead, and the caution flag is out. A 360 save for Severa, and I have to say, I don't think that was quite on Al. I think Severa tried to clear himself and just got hooked because Kozlowski did not yield, and he had no reason to do so. Watch this here, coming down, and you're not clear there, and Severa turns himself. That might have just cost the 62 a race win.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think we're right now. This is that shootout. We're getting ready to go right into that shootout window now. We're gonna have 18 to go by the time this thing goes green again. I mean, that's a full hard run on a set of tires, Nolan.
Schaffner's in the pit road. So is Severa, Powell, Grossi, Kling, Strunk, Adamson, Pattengale, and Ayland. All coming in this time by. It's a split call. Kozlowski and John Mullins both staying out. Brian Johnson will get the lucky dog. What a race. This is just... I'm at a loss for words.
Well, honestly, these guys have been racing each other clean all night, so I don't think there were any ill intentions there. I think that was just a racing incident where Severa, like you said, he looks like he stepped out a little bit, got a little bit loose, which allowed Kozlowski to kind of come in a little faster on him than he may have thought, and I think he just kind of came down on him. But I don't think he had enough damage that's going to take him out of this. Out of being a contender for this thing, and obviously Kozlowski didn't want to give up the track position.
Under caution yet again, and this is all going to be coming up to a head under 20 laps to go by the time we take the green flag.
So, okay, well, yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
how about a development from the Kentucky Speedway? Race leader Al Kozlowski, race leader no more. Peer pressure, we think, got the better of him. He has come down to pit road with the lapped cars. I think that is a very bad call, Al. I wouldn't have pit anyway, but I certainly wouldn't have pitted just because all the other guys pitted behind me, because he's going to be right behind all of them now.
Well, right when we were getting ready to pause for a word from our sponsors, I was going to ask you directly, Nolan, if you're in this situation, because yes, you are a racer also, would you pit?
You know what? Well, there you have your answer. Absolutely not. I wouldn't have pit regardless, but I certainly wouldn't have pitted, you know, knowing that everybody behind you is going to be on fresh rubber. I can understand why he did, you know, not wanting to be the only guy out in the lead without fresh rubber, but at the same time, if you're going to make that call, you have to make it on the time when you need to come down to pit road. That's not something you can just double back on later on. That's going to hurt him big time.
Well, it's definitely going to give him a different perspective than he had prior to pitting. But yeah, we're into the shootout. I mean, this is exactly what I'm saying, and obviously he didn't want to be sitting up front with all of that fresh rubber behind him. He didn't want to be that lame duck up front because, I mean, these guys are everyone's gonna go. I mean, there's nothing to wait for at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw yet even another caution before this thing was over.
It'll be 15 laps left to go when we take the green flag. Sorry, it'll be 16 laps to go when we take that green flag.
Yep, it looks like the lights are out on the pace car, and guys, we're getting ready to see some 3-wide racing. I'm gonna guarantee you that. I say stick around because you're getting ready to see 3-wide racing at Kentucky, and it might not even be for the lead.
John Mullins is on 16 lap older tires in comparison to everybody behind him. I tell you what, you wanted an entertaining battle for the win. Well, you certainly got it here.
Probably not the way to say hello to the guys in the league. You know what I mean? You don't want to be out there with 16 lap older tires as the flag is. Okay, here we go.
Oh boy.
The pace car's in, and the call's on Mullins. What's he going to do?
Jumping early, taking the Schaffner call, and we are back to green flag racing with 16 laps to go. 3-4 wide already, tucked in behind as it is chaos on the restart. Kling chopping across Grassi, almost turned to the 95 as Olsen scrambled to the apron to get out of everybody's way. And once again, you talked about almost having a wreck early on. Well, how's that for an incident? Schaffner going for the lead up in front as well, up the inside of John Mullins into turn number 3. 50 car looking to push up though. Mullins has the run on the top side and out of turn 4. Still side by side for the race lead.
And it looks like Kenny Powell is going to be wanting to get on that same train that Schaffner did, as he's going to tuck him right behind him and going to go ahead and battle Mullins for that second place.
Oh, and John Mullins stepping that back end out. That got all sorts of Harry for a brief moment there, and Chris Severa. More news from the 62 camp. A penalty for Chris Severa will have him coming down pit road this time by. So Severa's hopes at a race win completely dashed now as this battle rages on for second, third, and fourth with Ryan Strunk in the mix of things.
Yeah, and so what we got here right now is Kenny Powell's going to do his best to secure that second spot on the roster. Is we've got 2 newcomers that are going to be in the top 5 of this thing as we get down to 14 to go.
John Mullins stepping the back end out as well off of turn number 4. That time by the 64 car on older tires is still giving it full beans at the moment. And that is looking good for him so far. Oh, twitching a bit more, though. Mullins is trying to carry the same amount of speed through these corners as the race leaders are, but you can see him for that wiggling back end. He is struggling just to keep it going at the same speed, let alone try to pass anybody.
Yeah, he is drifting that thing around 3 and 4s now. The 77 car, Ryan Strunk's now going to try to come around the outside and pick up another position for him. Kenny Powell right now has got a clear view to Josh Schaffner. He's going to be doing everything in his power to try to close that distance so Schaffner doesn't just run away with this thing. As we are sitting ready at 12 to go, we got Josh Schaffner in first with Kenny Powell second. Ryan Strunk's in third. Josh Mullins is in fourth. Gary Adamson in fifth. Al Kozlowski sixth. Robert Pattengale seventh. Ken Aidland eighth. Wayne Grassi ninth. Brian Johnson 10th. And Eric Kling. Those are the only cars left on the lead lap.
And you're looking at the moment with Kyle Green getting past lead lap traffic of Brian Johnson, and Johnson in a scrap with Eric Kling for the final spot inside the top 10. All the while, you've got guys still battling up in front. Look at how Kozlowski up the inside of John Mullins into turn 3 in the battle for 4th place. Kozlowski goes through, and this time by 10 laps to go from Kentucky.
So with 10 laps to go from Kentucky, Kozlowski now gets a bird's eye view of where he would be had he stayed out on the same tires. So yeah, he did pit. Yeah, he pitted late, but looks like he made the best decision. As Al Kozlowski now going to show to the inside and try to challenge Ryan Stark for the 3rd position.
Tried for the inside out of 4, couldn't get there. He'll try again in 1, but looks like Strunk trying to cut across the line, and Al Kozlowski not going to be left with any room to work with here. So the 77 car still trying to hold tough on the outside line. Al Kozlowski this time by will dive into turn 3, and he'll take that one head first, and I think, does he manage to get it? Not quite. The 77 still pulling the outside.
Yeah, that 77 car's not just going to lay down and let it go either. I think him and Al just going to have a newfound respect for each other as this thing goes on down to 8 to go. 8 to go, Nolan, before we get to put this thing in the books.
Under 10 laps left to go on what has been a very intense race for everybody up and down throughout the field so far. And you have to wonder, is there any room for anything else dramatic to happen in a race that has already been as tight as this?
Yeah, room, and now we get to see if Powell's actually going to be able to walk Schaffner down here as we're getting ready to come to 6 to go. If anybody out there right now were to be rolling up, it would either be Severa, Johnson, or Powell. So it looks like Powell's going to have to represent and see if he can actually get that 24 car a little bit closer to even challenge Schaffner for the lead.
The gap is currently holding a bit steady. It's just around, it's about 0.4 of a second, but so far, Severa has been pulling out a little bit more, or sorry, not Severa, Josh Schaffner has been pulling out a bit more over recent times, but it has been fluctuating back and forth. It is worth noting that Powell did reel in about 0.14 of a second that few laps ago. And these last 3 laps, Powell has gained in a 10th 3 laps ago, a quarter of a 10th 2 laps ago, and another half a 10th this last time by. So that gap hovered around 3/10. This could go down to the wire as we're going to be 4 laps to go this time by.
Now, also, if you look up into the top of your frame, you'll see that Chris Severa is going to come into play as he's going to be trying to fight for his position to keep from going 2 laps down. So if these guys get closer to Severa as this thing comes down to the window, how does that factor into this?
I believe Severa is teammates with Kenny Powell, so you have to imagine that maybe he could try to play spoiler to Schaffner's party. Wouldn't that be something, right? Watching a lap car holding up the race leaders to allow for a side-by-side fight for the win. I can't remember the last time I've seen one of those here around, and I would love to see another one.
There's nothing wrong with a high-speed pick. Nelson, I think we are coming to 2 to go for the Tucson Sound Art Cup.
Indeed we are. It'll be 2 to go this time by, and battle still raging on just in behind. Look to Grassi and Mullins, who are side by side for the 6th position, with Mullins still looking to work the outside lane. And that Mullins will do just nicely. So the 64 car clearing around, and Grassi going to be tucked right in line with him.
Yeah, don't forget that Mullins is still on the older tires, as he did not pit. So he started off as our race leader, so that again will definitely playing out for him, as he will actually looks like secure his 6th place position. He's just got to keep Grassi at bay for a little bit longer, and then that will just turn out to be, looks like it'll be a win decision for him.
White flag is out. 1.5 miles left to go for the Sugarlands Distilling 200 at the Kentucky Speedway. Up in front, Kenny Powell has not been able to reel in nearly enough for the race lead. Severa pulling off to the bottom. He does not want to go one more lap than he has to. So Severa will go 2 down, and Schaffner will come around through 3 and 4. Powell's closing in, but he's not closing fast enough. And Josh Schaffner will win round number 8 of the Tucson Sound Art Cup Series from Kentucky.
Kenny Powell's going to secure that 2nd place, with Al Kozlowski securing 3rd place. Gary Adamson's going to be in 4th place, with Ryan Strunk rounding out your top 5.
That'll put John Mullins down in 6th place in a dead heat with Ryan Strunk. How about that for those two drivers? Literally just about tied between the two of them, with Wayne Grassi in 7th. That'll put Robert Pacquiao in 8th, Ken Allen in 9th, with Brian Johnson rounding out the top 10. Eric Kling was the last driver on the lead lap, and for there, that'll leave the likes of Flores, Olson, Severa, Green, Johnston, Hone, Johnson, well, the other Johnson, Chris Johnson, and Don Avery to round out your 19-car field from Kentucky. We'll take a quick step away. We'll be back with the post-race show in just a moment.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the post-race show here from the Kentucky Speedway. And what a race it was, with exciting action from start to finish, and now with 3 drivers left to talk to us when it has all come to a close. We'll start it off with race winner Josh Schaffner taking it home at the end of the night. And what a drive for you tonight, Josh, but I imagine it was not easy taking a race win here from Kentucky this week.
Yeah, it wasn't easy at all. The first 2 stages, I felt really good about the short run car, and the long run was good. Chris had a good pit strategy there and leapfrogged me, and it was going to be tough. I'd been blessed with clean air all race, and dirty air was a whole different ball game. And I mentioned a little bit on Thursday when we chatted about these races, you just got to be mistake free, and I hated to see Chris and Al get together there, but it's just another example of in these long races, you have to be solid, start to finish. Every lap's got to be good, and if you can do that, you're always going to be in the running in races like this.
Well, with all this being said and done, how did the pit strategy work out for a lot of you guys out there? Because for the most part, it was looking a bit steady, but then, of course, that caution came out right after the pit stops, and I think that might have put a whole wrench in the work of things, mustn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. It trapped a bunch of guys a lap down, and for Chris and I at that point, we trapped a whole bunch of guys a lap down. We kind of had to save our set of tires there, so we kind of chose not to pit, and that trapped a few more cars a lap down, and we were in good shape. There were a few cars that might have had a few less laps that were still in the lead lap, but the cars that cycled around, we were in good shape with tires, and it proved out to be the right decision. Having tires with 20 to go was definitely the strategy that paid off for the win.
So as we get set to go racing into the final quarter of this season, kicking off, the final third of the season, I should say, kicking off next week at the Daytona Road Course, do you think you might have anything for the likes of Chris Severa by season's end?
It's hard to say. He had some challenges tonight, and for me, with the hole I dug myself in, I'm going to have to be literally perfect the rest of the season to probably even maybe have a chance to get close, and we'll see where it shapes up after tonight. But like I said, I'll just come out each week and try to put in a perfect lap start to finish, and if we don't make mistakes, we'll probably be able to chip away at it here and there.
Well, thank you for taking the time to join us here tonight from Kentucky Speedway, Josh. What a pleasure to have you out here once again. Anybody like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I'll also got to thank Tucson Art, ISCA, Kenny, you guys up in the booth, Nolan, for putting together the great broadcasts each week. Got to thank Premier Racing Garage Setups, and obviously Smith Farms and Pioneer Corteva, the whole group of agencies on the car as well. Just got to thank everyone that helps out each week.
Thank you, Josh, for taking the time to join us here tonight. Congratulations on a Stage 1 win. Best of luck in best of luck in race number 9. You already had best of luck in Stage 1.
Sounds good. Congrats to Kenny and Al for coming in on the podium as well.
That was Josh Schofter taking it home for us here tonight in a very good race win. And Al, if you're back with us, well, why don't I pass you down to our second place finisher, that of Kenny Powell.
Hey, Kenny, this is Big Al up in the booth for you. Got me?
I got you.
Hey, we got to stop meeting like this. I think you finished second place last week as well. What were some of your biggest challenges out there today?
Oh, man, I've struggled this whole week, so I'm actually pretty happy to be where I am. I just try to stay in the top 5 and keep my nose clean and try to see if I could be there at the end. I definitely don't think I was as fast as Chris Severa and Johnson and Josh. So, I did what I needed to do, stay up there and keep plugging at it.
Well, you guys definitely had a strong showing today, and it's a good. It's got to be a good feeling being able to actually score as many points as we're going into next week on the road course. What are you concerned most about there with this new power package that we got going on?
Well, it's I haven't put this car on the road course yet, so I have no idea how to answer that question. I'm a mediocre, I guess, road racer. We'll just have to see what the race brings us next week.
Well, that was it was really awesome. So towards the end of the race there, what was your pit strategy there once that caution came out towards the end of the race?
Yeah, I had planned to pit right on the middle of the tires, and hopefully, that would short pit some of the guys that were in front of me. Like I said, I didn't think I'd catch Chris Severa and Schaffner, but maybe I had a chance at Mr. Johnson, and so I was hoping to short pit him and catch it, but that didn't work out. I don't think I gained anything in that pit sequence. And then the caution came out, and I was racing for the lucky dog at that very moment. So that didn't go my way. And I just got lucky that a later caution came out, and I was able to get fresh tires and be on the same strategy as Josh.
Well, that's an awesome finish for you guys here today with that second place for the 24 cars. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. Tucson Sound Art and Robert Battengale for helping put this whole thing on. You guys in the booth, Rob in the back, Premier Racing Setups, my team G&G, and I definitely got to give the big shout out to Chris Severa. The base setup just didn't work for me very well. I just didn't feel comfortable in the car, and Chris really put some work into it and gave me a car that I could handle. So thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, sir, for your time. You have a good evening.
All righty.
With that, we're going to move along to our third and final driver on the podium tonight. Mr. Al Kozlowski joins us back up in the broadcast booth. And Al, I'm going to address the kind of the big thing that helped get you that third place first, that pit call right at the end. We were thinking you might be waiting out for a yellow to come out, and right at the end of the fuel run, it certainly did. Was that always the plan for you, to wait to see if a yellow would come out and take advantage of it?
Yeah, I was stretching it. I was hoping it was going to come out because I knew that was going to. My car was absolutely, as you've seen most of the race, about 35 laps on them tires. It was like really loose, so I had to run it out. So I only had like 34 laps to the finish. So I was planning on going to about lap 1, I don't know, 1:09, 110, something like that, and was praying for a caution. I mean, the iRacing gods were with me on that part and gave me that caution, and that kind of helped me.
And all throughout the race, I mean, you were looking very, very strong from start to finish, but it was more of you're more fighting for spots around the 5th position, but you certainly managed to pull it around and get a 3rd place for yourself overall. What do you think some of the things are about Kentucky that might make it one of the more challenging tracks, especially considering the fact that we don't come here too often anymore?
Well, this is the new Kentucky. I mean, we've got this new package and everything, and I was pretty strong at the old one when you can go all out. But this one you have to lift and a little bit of braking. In the beginning of my run to about lap 15 laps on my tires, I was not using my brakes. I just lift, which caused a problem because the folks in front of me, the drivers, they would brake, and I'd have to kind of brake a little bit, and that would upset my car. So as you've seen early in the race, I backed it down. I went from wherever I started 6th all the way down to 10th or 11th, and I just let them by because I knew these guys are really aggressive, and they're not. There's no patience, so they were going to eat their stuff up, and I would just slowly pick them off from there. So it's a very technical challenge track with this new car. You've got to be patient, and if it wasn't like Kenny said, Chris Severa put on a great package underneath us, a good setup that I was able to surprisingly handle, and I'm happy with the 3rd.
Well, with all of that said and done, the next track up is also a place we don't go to very often, but it's one that has arguably a much greater challenge. It's the Daytona Road Course. What's your thoughts coming on over down to Florida?
I'm terrible with turning right. I mean, if I'm turning right, it's loading my car on a trailer. Road courses and me, they don't mix. So I don't think I'll be back up here talking to you next week unless we have a whole lot of people that have a whole lot of problems. Patience is going to win next week as well.
Patience will certainly be the key, and well, hopefully we'll be seeing a lot of guys being a bit more patient over at the road course racing. Before I let you go, then hear out anybody you'd like to shout out for that G&G number 88.
Absolutely. Let's give a thanks to Tucson Sound Art and Sugarland. Everybody that knows me knows I love my apple pie moonshine from Sugarland, so it's good to come in 3rd in a race sponsored by them. My teammates at G&G, all of them, week after week, we get in here almost nightly for at least 4 or 5 hours and are on this track trying to, put a performance on like this. So practice makes perfect, as they say. And I want to thank you, Nolan, and you, Al, and of course Rob in the back scene that never gets much credit for putting on a hell of a show for our fans.
And thank you, Al, for taking the time to join us here tonight. Congratulations on a solid 3rd place. Best of luck next week over in at Daytona, Florida.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys then. Appreciate it.
Well, that'll just about be a wrap for us then here for the iRacing Stock Car Association. What an exciting race tonight. So from us here at the Kentucky Speedway, Nola Rempel with Alfonso Dixon and Rob Melding behind the cameras. Want to thank every one of you guys for taking the time to join us for more Saturday night racing action. Join us next week when we go racing down south in Florida for round number 9 of the iRacing Stock Car Association Tucson Sound Art Cup Series.